Hello, welcome to this video. In this one, we're going to go over the OSCP exam report, and this is in conjunction with my other How to Pass the OSCP video. It was quite long. I didn't intend for it to be quite long. I wanted it to be about 10-15 minutes. Instead, it ended up being about half an hour, but I do think there's a lot of good information there. I highly recommend you watch that and others of the same type. I highly recommend also watching this video if you are to stick around for some really good tips. I'll be going through the actual exam document itself provided by Offsecs. So if you don't just want to hear me spiel off, just skip to the video and go to that point, and I'll be showing you which bits are necessary, which aren't, and my opinions of them. So starting off, some common questions and misconceptions. So I've taken a list of the most common questions and answers from the past year up to the most relevant up to the most newest part of the exam. So before the OSCP changed, if you buffer overflows a few years back, I believe that changed in 2022. So since then on, I've taken some of the most common questions from Reddit and I've scoured through them and I've given like the answer to them on here, verified by myself. I've done the exam and from other people who've done it and just from Reddit itself. And answers will be from my own experience and knowledge from the exam, and as well as offset documentation and as well as verified answers from Reddit. So obviously I've done the exam, I know what works. I'm not the be all and end all, I'm not God. But I've also taken things from other people as well. Some very common questions that get asked, so I'm going to answer them on here hopefully. So for starters, tools using the exam. If you're using a tool in the exam, you haven't got to explain in your report how to download it. If it's non-default, link them. Put like just however you format it, really make it formal, make it professional, and just say, link to the tool, whatever it may be. You don't need to show it how to install and things like that. They'll probably know what it is anyway. This is unless the tool is custom. If you've built it, you need to include it, source code, things like that. I highly doubt that'll be the case, but if so, obviously they're not going to have that script, so you need to make that available to them. Put the script in the file. You're only allowed to submit a PDF, so it's going to have to be in text format for them. Just make it easy to copy, make it easy to build, whatever it is you need to do. Any changes to any tool should be documented and explained in the report. So if you've done something to a tool, explain why it's been done, how you've done it, changes made and why they were made. Best practice, if using non-default tools, link them and explain your usage of them. So if you're using something like Kerbroot to perform some enumeration on the domain controller, just say, I use Kerbroot, here's a link to it, and they'll probably already be using that. It goes without saying, in case you haven't read documentation, no auto-exploitation tools are allowed in the exam, such as SQL map or pro versions of any tools like Burp Suite, things like that. They're not allowed. And Metasploit and Metapreter, they are limited to one machine, and if you're not successful, that is your attempt burned out. So you will fail if a proc sees you doing that, or just in general don't. To be honest, I don't really rely on Metasploit. It's a brilliant tool, but I would not heavily rely on it for the exam. I think it's bad practice. Know how to use it, but yeah, for the OSCP, I would try and limit your usage of it. Screenshots and notes. So copy all the commands that you've used and screenshot key points in the attack chain. If it's hard to explain, it's probably easier with a picture. So if you're thinking, oh Christ, this is like some mega command that I've just come up with, copy the command, screenshot it with the output, and it's so much easier, and you can save yourself a fortune by trying to type out text and just show the screenshot instead. As well, the screenshots must be made of the proof and local flags. If you're new to the exam, when you are administrator, you get on the desktop a proof file and a local file on a non-administrator account. Basically says that you've gained access to the machine, and one of them shows that you've escalated. And you also need to show the network configurations of the machine, such as ipconfig, and this is just to demonstrate that you've not accessed them from a web shell and that you've actually got on the machine. As well, if you are using a web shell to access a machine, that is not allowed. You must use a system shell. For good practice, a similar command like summing below is quite good. So cat local text, ifconfig, and who am I. That'll basically show the network configuration, the contents of the flag file, and what system you are running as. As well, following on from that, document as much as possible. If you have time, re-exploit and confirm that the notes that you've made are correct. It's not going to hurt you, and it's just going to ensure that you're passing, so it's always good. As well, if you take better notes, it's going to save you a lot of time in the report. If you document everything, you can't really go wrong. In hindsight, you can go back and be like, it's not relevant, and just not really include it in your report, whatever you want to do, but you can't do that if you haven't included it. As well, verbosity, so how much detail you're going in the report. Explaining to a technically competent reader is most likely enough, especially if commands have already been explained in document. Basically what that means is, if you're explaining something, you don't have to explain the whole history and saga of it, like why it exists, why you use it. Explain what you're doing, why you're doing it. How much detail you want to go into that is obviously very much a subjective thing. But I think you should know. I've included an example, file transfers. I didn't put in my report every single time I transferred a file. Just maybe something like, I started a Python server on HTTP server and then transferred my files over to a machine from my Kali instance, things like that. Maybe should demonstrate that once, so at least then you've got some sort idea of how it works. A lot of the exams, you're probably going to know how to do it. Don't just chin it off and not do it. Do it once, and then if you abbreviate something, call it by its proper name once, and then from that point on, then abbreviate it, things like that. For the exploit steps, be as verbose as you need to be. It's better to over-explain something than not explain it enough and potentially cause confusion. Again, screenshots going to help you a lot with that. But if you're getting confused doing something, the proctor's got absolutely, the one marking exam's got absolutely no chance. Just be as explain as much as you need to explain. I know it's very difficult when you say, "Oh, how much do I need to include?" If you're stressing about it, then unfortunately, you've probably got to explain a little more. But in general, I think you should sort of just know. If you've explained it enough, if you go through it and you can recreate your steps, then you know you're doing well. The exam format. So Offset provides the formats in a document and a PDF file. One for open document format and one for a docx format. They're two different styles. It doesn't mean they must be used. Others exist. So some GitHub ones exist that you can use in Markdown. Other people, just in general, Markdown generators. Some people make all their notes in Markdown, convert it straight from that to a report. That's great. If you work like that, that's fantastic. That does not work for me. I literally just make notes as if I was like a child, and then I go back and do it. For some people, they're really thorough with it. If that's like something that you do, I'd highly look into these tools so you can create all your Markdown straight into a report. As long as a report in a PDF format, it's less than 200 megabytes, and the correct information, your report's going to be accepted. I can't really see why any of the format's going to cause an issue. Anything else going to cause an issue as long as it's formal and the steps to reproduce the exploits are contained within. You're going to be all right. I won't worry too much. Exam size as well. A lot of people stress about this on the subreddit. People always ask, how much you write in your report? It's subjective. So from what I've seen, there's been reports of people doing it from 25 to 500 pages, which is absolutely insane. Personally, my report was 89 pages long. Mostly screenshots, but still a lot of text. But yeah, that's just for reference. And quantity does not equal quality. If you over-explain something, you're not going to get more marks for it. You're just potentially wasting your time. And if anything, you're going to annoy the person marking it. Like, no one wants to mark a huge exam or something that could have been explained in 5 pages that's now 500, as an example. Hello, so in this, we're just going to go over the actual exam report that Offset have provided. So this is the docx format. I'm not sure if the open document format is a little bit different. I haven't used it, but this is the one I used. So as you can see here, this is what they've given you. You put your email address and your OSID that they've assigned you here, and they'll obviously update that accordingly. They'll email you. Nice little contents page here just to lay out the exam. I personally deleted this. Again, the format is very, very customizable. It's not always this is just how they've done it. It doesn't mean you've got to do the same thing, but obviously whatever you are doing, just make it look formal. So for me, I deleted this because I really couldn't be bothered to go and mind it. There is a way this will automatically update, but I'm using Google Docs and I couldn't get it to work. So instead I was like, right, I'm just going to delete it and just rename the headings. It was so much easier for me. And after working like 4 hours sleep, I wanted to just get things done. I'd rather spend more time on actually explaining things instead. As you can see, the general outline of this is what they've got. I'm going to go over some of these now. So this sort of stuff here, I wouldn't say it's strictly necessary. Maybe a quick introduction of what you've been tasked to do. But things like this, the objective, requirements, high-level summary, maybe not as necessary. I know I didn't include some of these for the exam. I'm not. Again, some people probably went absolutely mad on this, and a lot of people tell you some of this, for instance, is not relevant. So let's look at maintaining access or house cleaning. Not relevant to the exam. The exam machines are reset. If you wanted to, you could just get rid of these. I didn't. I just put something generic in and just say what I would have done. However, it's not. They're not going to penalise you for it if these, let's say, house cleaning or persistence is not there. It's not a big thing. Just as an example. Good things like this. So let's say if you don't have a little introduction, just straight away just go through recommendations, saying what you found and how to remedy these things. Maybe again, pretty much I'm going to go through the content to make it a bit easier. I would say this whole, if you really wanted to, this whole section here you can get rid of. If you just want to get rid of this, maybe keep a little instruction to what you've done to the exam, so what's going on, and then if you literally just wanted to explain what you've done and how you've done it, I know people that have done that. Like their exam reports have been about 25 pages long. That's the lowest I saw on Reddit, and according to them, they passed. Other people, same thing, between 20 and 40 pages have all passed, and there's just going to be documenting, their exam report. It's not going to be a great detail like this in there. It's not needed. So strictly speaking, it's not needed. Obviously, for a professional report, that's what they're trying to get you to do. And if you want to practice it, by all means, it's good practice. But for your report, it's not strictly like criteria. So I wouldn't go too mad. So again, this format that they're giving you, I'd say it's really good. It's nice and simple. Obviously, we've got the machine that here and what they've done to actually exploit it. So they've laid it out as in this is my first step, the actual initial access, what it is, and what sort of severity is it? Is it critical? Is it not too bad? Or obviously, it's probably going to be critical if it's like initial access. It's going to be something that's going to return a shell. So it's going to be like, oh, not great. And then a little short description of how to boost the attack chain. I think this general format's really good. I follow this exact format and I passed. Just what happened to me. I'm not sure how other people have done it, but it worked for me. So I'm just going to talk about that. Again, I followed this pretty much to a T. I just changed a few little bits. Going through what they've enumerated here, so what they've done. Again, great one, just a map scan. And then after this, here we go. Oh, sorry, that's just a little heading. Where's the new one? Somewhere along here. So obviously, we'll go back up and just have a quick look at what they've done in a minute, and you can see this is what I was saying before. Quick one as well to touch on what they've done. So they've made it quite verbose and had look, this is the local TXT value, the command they've run to get it, and this is them proving that they've done it. This is something I want to highlight this and make this very prevalent. You will need to do this in your exam. If you don't do this, you will fail. They will not give you the points. You absolutely must do this. So every time you get a flag file, screenshot it, submit it to the little exam panel, and then make sure you've got this screenshot like this. I didn't use my username. I didn't use who am I. I just used the network configuration and the contents of the flag file. But at a minimum, you need to have the flag file and the IP configuration. So as you can see, the next setting they've got is privilege escalation, and then after that, I believe they've got another one, just post exploitation. What they've done, yeah, there we go. That sort of system, really good. How they've done it, really good. Can't fault it for an actual proper report. Probably might want to go into a bit more detail, but in general, I don't think you're going to go far wrong with that. Again, for your exam, you could probably chin all that off and just go straight into a format of, this is what I did and how I did it, and they're probably not going to be too bothered. At least in my experience, I don't think they'd mind. So we're going to go through what's actually what they provided for the exam. So as you can see, they explain everything. We've run the nmap scan to the target, found a few ports open, and I did follow this. If you don't over-explain it, don't go into nmap runs like this. It performs a TCP or ICMP echo scanner. You don't have to go absolutely mental with it and over-explain everything. Just simple. We run an nmap scan and we found some services running. Very easy to understand. It'll save you a lot of time. Just save you the headache and save the person reading it the headache having to read just unnecessary text. It's just, yeah. If you obviously that's your thing, you want to do that. I'm not going to tell you what to do, but if you just want to write the report and get the report done, kind of mentality, then this is probably the most effective way to do it. So as you can see, we're on an nmap scan. There's my nmap scan. There's a scan that we did to then get more information, and boom, the technically competent reader will be able to determine what's going on. Here we go. SNMP revealed a Shenzi set, which is not protected with the password, and that's some interesting files for us. So there we go, and then we just enumerated it. As you can see, it's all very simple, it's very basic. There's not a great deal here. It's just a very basic example, but this is all you're going to do in your exam as well. It's not nothing that you won't be doing. It don't need over explaining. It's not to blow your mind. It's very simple. As you can see, for the Active Directory set, I believe it's all very similar. Oh, where's that gone? there was an Active Directory example here. Here we go. There we go. Oh, this is not ideal. Page 19. There we go. 19. There we go. As you can see, for the AD set, it's nothing different. They just laid it out, same thing. Exactly how I did it as well. I put all my systems there, so you will get 3 machines on your AD set, your DC, your first system and your second system. Whether or not they're all connected or behind a network is completely up to the exam. It's not so I'm going to comment on, but could happen. It could be an internal network, most likely will be, but also might not be. Things like that. Just laid out what they've done, and then they've gone through the same process again. And again, if you keep this process, it's going to be nice and easy. You have to do it over and over again. It just simplifies things down for you. And as you can see, they're not over-explaining anything. They're just like, what have we done and how have we done it? A nice little simple rundown. Again, you don't even need to do it. If you really didn't want to, you didn't have to do this. You could just quite simply go and say, I've done this to achieve this. Just like this. So use Hydra, and then we've got a password for it, dead easy. Not much to say there, so that's exactly that. They've not said a lot. And then privilege escalation pseudo group. We found that I used in a pseudo group, and there we go. We was able to switch to the root user, and there's our proof file. Very easy. Nothing too complex there in describing what they've done. And I just said what I've done afterwards. After collecting the proof file, started doing a backdoor using SSH. John began the enumeration of the file system. There we go. This explaining how he's got onto the next machine. So yeah, I'll go back into the next machine. So from the, I imagine this from the credentials that they found on the machine, they've logged straight in. They're nice and easy. Again, you don't need to go into too much detail. Point is, just keep it simple, nice and basic, and you can't. I don't think you go far wrong. Stick to your basics. If you struggle with report writing, I highly recommend just going over a little bit. It's nothing to catch you out, and I know they're pretty strict in their requirements, but again, if you're just formal, as long as you don't present your PDF format and literally just something that looks disgusting and they're obviously gonna not be very appealing, then yeah, just make it readable, make it presentable, and include as much information as you deem necessary, really. But as I've already said, if you're any confused about what to include in it, just look on the subreddit, and there's a lot of questions and answers on there that people have said they're all different anecdotes, and again, a lot of the stuff you don't need to include. Personally, if you want to sort of just get done with the exam report and just keep it at that, you could probably chin off these first 3 sections and literally just describe the independent challenges you've done and the Active Directory set. That'd be my advice.